Hello, and this is the part 2 video for describe a time when you went shopping in a street market. You should say when it was, where it was, what you bought, and explain how you felt about the shopping experience. If you had asked me this question a few years ago, I would have struggled to talk about it because street markets had decreased in popularity, and the majority of people did their weekly shop in the supermarket. However, in the last couple of years, street markets have made a comeback. A couple of weeks ago, the sun was shining and I felt that we needed to get out and get some fresh air, so my family and I went for a drive. We headed for the coast, and when we got there, we took a stroll along the beach. The combination of sea air and a long walk made us quite hungry, so we walked towards the town centre to find somewhere to eat. It suddenly got very busy and the streets were teeming with people, and we discovered a street market was taking place. There was a range of stalls with not only local food but also food from other countries as well. Street food has become increasingly popular in my country in the last few years, and we were keen to sample lots of different cuisines. We bought kimbap from a Korean stall, some Hungarian bread that was filled with ice cream. There was a Vietnamese stall with a delicious wrap, but I can't remember exactly what it was called. The best thing about a market like this is that you are able to sample lots of different things rather than going to a cafe and just eating one type of food. Eating street food with your fingers can be messy, but I loved it because everything was tasty and fresh, and we got to try things that we had never eaten before. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the language used in this answer. Started it with a very impressive third conditional. If you had asked me this question a few years ago, I would have struggled to talk about it. So the third conditional is an imaginary situation in the past. Now you might be able to use this as the opening sentence for many other topics. So describe your last holiday. If you had asked me this question a few years ago, I would have struggled to talk about it because I had never been on holiday. So it's a worthwhile one to learn to start your answer with because it's very impressive in terms of grammar. Because street markets had decreased in popularity, so past perfect because this had happened before this point in the past. To decrease in popularity means to become less popular. The majority of people use this in writing as well as speaking. Most people. We talk about the weekly shop. Many people in the UK tend to go shopping once a week, so we call it a weekly shop. To make a comeback, very good expression, quite idiomatic, and it means when something is not popular or something disappears and then it comes back. So we use it as a noun to make a comeback. Here I've put this in any topic where you're talking about the past, get something in like it was raining or the sun was shining because it's your past continuous. To get out and get some fresh air, basically just to go out, but get out and get some fresh air is another way of saying it. And instead of saying we went to the coast, we headed for the coast. To take a stroll along the beach. A stroll is a leisurely walk. The combination of, the mixture of. And I'm using this more frequently now because I want you to try and get it in either your part 1 or your part 2 speaking. Teeming with people. The streets were teeming with people, and it means the streets were full of people. And a street market was taking place. So some fantastic grammar in this answer. So when you go to a market has stalls. These are stalls, so they're the places where people are selling their goods and produce. So there was a range of stalls. Instead of saying it's become more popular, and you can use this in writing as well, using increasingly popular or increasingly more popular. We were keen to sample, so we wanted to try. To sample means to try different cuisines, different food. I have focused on food in this topic rather than just a market with clothes or books, because I think it's easier to talk about food and there is more language connected with food. We bought kimbap. You might not want to use this word. It's not important to use this word, but this is a particular Korean food. Whatever you're going to talk about, make sure that you've got some examples of the kinds of things that you bought there. So a bread that was filled with, again, some good grammar, and a delicious wrap. This is a wrap. We use this word quite a lot now in the UK. We don't just eat sandwiches, we use wraps as well. But I can't remember exactly what it was called, and I can't. But very useful and good use of language. I can't remember exactly what it was called. Again, you're able to sample, to try lots of things. And eating street food with your fingers can be messy. Your fingers get covered in food. That's what that means. But we got to try things we had never eaten before. So again, some good grammar. So for this topic, strongly recommend that you focus on food for the stalls in the market, and then you can talk about the things that you bought, the things that you were able to sample from the different stalls, and there might be lots of different cuisines there, so lots of different foods. You're eating the foods with your fingers, which can be messy. So quite useful vocabulary in there, and I've tried to make it that it would fit to any country's market. Hope you found that useful. Thanks for watching.